Welcome back to another episode of San Diego Prep Insider. Christian Pedersen, Tommy Morris, Bodie De Silva. Bodie joining us on behalf of Scorebook Live, the official digital content provider of all things CIF sports, all things high school sports. They're a great app to have. They're a great website to check out. You can figure out everything there at sbliveca.com or scorebooklive.com, or if you just Google Scorebook Live or SB Live, you will be able to figure it out. The internet, the world is your oyster. I'm sure you'll be able to figure it all out. Also, let's say thank you again, as always, to the U.S. Army for everything they are doing before we get to our division preview. All right, guys, Division 4, and thank you again to the U.S. Army for all of their support all football season long. Tommy, Bodie, this one, when we're doing sports, every now and then we come across a stat that is like meaningful and you're like, oh my gosh, the stars have all aligned, that all of these X, Y, and Z players are achieving all of these things. Other times you're hit with stats where you're like, I don't know what to do with this, but it feels significant. The D4 playoffs are that second one. Fallbrook, Mission Bay, Coronado, and Palo Verde Valley are 3 of the 4 D5 semifinalists last year. They are now 3 of the 4 D4 semifinalists this year. I don't know how often that happens or how rarely it doesn't happen or anything like that, but it feels like, wow, this is a huge amount of teams and coaches and just overall programs that we need to congratulate on a ton of success, having reached this point now twice in a row, going up a division. Like, there's just a whole lot of boxes that this week checks in terms of the health of Division 4 in these playoffs. Let's start with that Fallbrook Mission Bay game. Fallbrook takes care of Francis Parker in a nail biter, 24-21. Mission Bay beats Montgomery 24-12 in what felt like also kind of a gut check game. Fallbrook, Mission Bay semifinals. Let's start with you, Bodie De Silva from Scorebook Live.
Yeah, this one I really could go back and forth. I will go with Fallbrook because when the brackets came out, I took them to win the whole thing. So I want to be consistent and stick with it. But man, I think this is going to be a really good game. Mission Bay was so good last week, going to Montgomery, shutting them down and pulling out. I believe it was a 17-10 victory for them. It just shows that when they need to, they can go in and kind of lock you down. And I think this Fallbrook game is going to be a lot of the same. I don't expect it to be high scoring. I think maybe the first team that gets to 20 is the winner here. But I will go with Fallbrook at home. But Coach Tate, definitely not anti-Mission Bay. Don't hold it against me too much. But I'm going to go Fallbrook here.
Bodie De Silva trying to avoid being caught in the receipts. Tommy Morris, your thoughts on this one?
I'm in many receipts. Anyway, Mission Bay with a very impressive win last week. They 17 unanswered points all in the fourth quarter to beat Montgomery. This is a team that has a lot of heart. We saw it early in the season. This team will never give up, so it's hard to count them out ever. Chris Bosch from Fallbrook did not play last week. Their leading rusher, so that meant that Alan Leon had to step in, and all he did is rush for 256 yards and 3 touchdowns against Francis Parker. So not bad. Not much of a drop-off there. Very good outing for Alan. I like Fallbrook in this one, kind of like Bodie said. I've kind of stuck with them the whole way. I think that this is their bracket to lose, essentially. And Mission Bay, you can never count those kids out, though, because they have more heart than a lot of teams have shown all season long. And kudos to Coach Tate and that group because they never quit.
Yeah, like I said, kudos to the coaching staff. I mean, always you say kudos to all of the coaching staffs that reach this point, but kudos to the coaching staffs, Palo Verde Valley, Mission Bay, and Fallbrook for reaching the semifinals 2 years in a row as the same group of competition. Other guy you got to give a huge shout out is to Coach Kurt Hines. He has Coronado in the semifinals in what feels like proof that the plan sometimes does actually work, that you're there for a couple of years, you build up the culture, you build up the success, you form the team into what you actually want it to be. So Kurt Hines has this boys cooking. They are into the semifinals. They are against Palo Verde Valley. Palo Verde, the defending Division 5 champs. I guess you would always kind of assume at this point it's their game to lose, but am I right? Am I wrong? Bodie De Silva, your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, this is one I did get right. I took Palo Verde to make it all the way to the finals. They showed me that they know what they're doing last week. A huge road win at La Jolla Country Day. They'll have another trip this week going all the way out, basically as far west as that you could ask them to go. Their rushing attack is so good. All those guys were back last week. putting up over 400 rushing yards against La Jolla Country Day. I think they can do it again. I really do think they have a good shot in this game, not just because I picked them before the brackets, but I'll take Palo Verde Valley and get back to the championship again for them.
Tommy Morris, your thoughts?
We've been doing this, I think, 6 years now,
Yes.
or 7 years now. I think 7. This is going to be a first for me. Never in the history of this podcast or TV show back in those days have I ever picked the team to lose twice in the playoffs and then pick them to win. I'm going to do it right now for the first time ever. I'm going to pick Palo Verde over Coronado. Coronado's had a great run. Graham Bauer with 5 total touchdowns last week, if I'm not mistaken. He did it on offense, defense. It was all over the place. But Palo Verde running for 406 yards versus Country Day. I just don't see a way you can lose a game if you run for that many yards. And Country Day is a good team. So if they can even put up, 75% of that, I think this is a win for Palo Verde Valley, and I'm going to stick with them again. It's the first time ever I picked against a team twice and then picked them in the playoffs. I don't think I've ever done that, but here it is.
I would also like to just give a shout out to the Palo Verde fans because I have proof that they travel. I was at La Jolla High School for the Bishop's Imperial game, and a Palo Verde fan showed up. They were at the wrong high school. They were trying to go to La Jolla Country Day, but it gave me proof that they have fans that travel. In depth to wherever, whenever, however. It's an exciting group to see. For more on this or any of the other brackets, make sure you download the SB Live Sports app, visit scorebooklive.com, or swipe around to any of our other division previews, guys. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.